Today on Race Day, the Winston Cup Series swimming to Virginia.
Wet tracks have been a problem in Winston Cup lately. I'm Bob Dillner, and I'll update you on how Mother Nature is cooperating with Martinsville today.
The NHRA Speed Demons hoping to beat the rain in Hotlanta. Another new record for the cruiser. The Craftsman Truckers in the Valley of the Sun, a young Virginian quickest so far. While the IRL team's hitting the bricks, their first Indy test will take a close look at the team to beat. This week's newsmaker is Chip Ganassi, a man with quite a plan for kart racing.
It's going to work, and I can't wait.
Hey, we're mounting up the rain tires for Race Day. It's Sunday, April 19th, 1998. Well, good morning. Welcome to Race Day. I'm Rick Benjamin. It's great to have you with us today. Weather permitting, short track stock car action is on tap this Sunday. Now, if all goes well, about 2 hours from now, they'll drop the green at Martinsville for the Winston Cup Goodies 500. And here's what teams are working on in the garage area before racing gets underway. Actually, not very much. They're watching the weather. It's as wet as it's been in Martinsville all weekend. Drizzly now, and teams are wondering if they will be able to go racing in just a short time. It is almost time, weather permitting, for some serious short tracking, though, at Martinsville, which is among the very toughest tracks the Winston Cup teams run on each spring. The 500 laps in Virginia, a test of patience and determination and brakes. Our Bob Dillner is in Virginia for the preview. And Bob, the weather has to be a major concern of everyone at the racetrack this morning.
Well, Rick, this is an all too familiar sight here in Martinsville. It's been raining on and off all morning long. And if you remember back to last fall, rain postponed the race until Monday. And Jeff Burton was your winner. He'll line up 15th. But the man on the pole, Bobby Hamilton, is anxious to get this thing started because he loves the short track at Martinsville.
2 drag strips with a corner. That's the way it is, man.
Bobby Hamilton knows how to drag around this half mile in Martinsville. He's finished 8th or better in the last 8 races here, including 3rd or better in the last 3. And if we race today, Bobby is hoping for Martinsville win number 1.
We got a good enough car. You know, your equipment's got to hold up. The driver's got to take care of it. If we're there around the end, we got as good a shot as anybody.
Hamilton chased defending race winner Jeff Gordon around this track last year for more than 400 laps. Gordon lines up 3rd, equaling his best qualifying effort at Martinsville. Ken Schrader and Ricky Rudd have their best starting spots of the season, and Rudd is hoping this 500 can bring his first top 10 of the season.
Well, we just like to get back cracking the top 10, top 5 again, you know, and if you do that regularly, you'll win some races, but we just haven't been able to do that this year.
I'm just happy that we're starting up front. It certainly will make things a little bit easier. It's just whether or not we could stay up there.
You know, the last several times here at Martinsville, I've qualified pretty well, at least good enough to get on the front straight away. And anything now, you got to have everything you can get to get ahead in this business.
Bill Elliott very happy to be pinning on the front stretch. Dale Jarrett, on the other hand, is not too pleased. He just missed the top 22 in qualifying, so he owns the first stall on the backstretch. Fellow top 10 point contenders Terry Labonte, Johnny Benson, and Dale Earnhardt all join Jarrett back there. Point leaders Rusty Wallace and Jeremy Mayfield will pin on the front stretch. Mayfield also with his best ever qualifying effort here, 13th overall. But then again, Wallace is the best Martinsville mentor a teammate could have.
You know, the 2 places I knew that I really wanted a lot of help and needed a lot of help was qualifying for Bristol and Martinsville. And, you know, I come into Bristol and qualified 10th, and came back here and qualified in the top 15, going to be on the front stretch.
This hasn't been a good track for us. I thought we tested well. We get here and messed up qualifying. It's just not going as good as I'd like, but, you know, I think we've still got a good race car.
Right now, Jarrett and all the others are just waiting on Mother Nature's next move. By the way, 7 races have been shortened because of rain here in Martinsville, the last one in 1995. The winner, your current Winston Cup points leader and outside pole sitter, Rusty Wallace. Back to you, Rick.
Well, Bob, what are they saying about the chances of actually dropping the green on the Goodies 500 at Martinsville today?
Right now, the radar doesn't look good, and tomorrow doesn't look that much better. The next open date on the Winston Cup schedule, Mother's Day weekend.
Well, that would be a tough situation. Thanks, Bob Dillner in Martinsville for us. Time now for our weekly scoreboard. The Winston Cup teams who failed to make the show, heading home from Martinsville without getting to race. Dave Marcus missing his 6th race of 8 this year in the Realtree car. Gary Bradbury also 2 for 8 in starts, and Wally Dallenbach failing to qualify. This is the 4th race he's missed this year. Our Mopar performance update now. The NHRA Warriors battling this weekend. They're in Atlanta for the Fram Nationals. A familiar face continuing his recent hot streak in funny car. Cruz Pedregon nailing down yet another track record. Let's check in with TNN's Bob Fry. He's got our preview. And Bob, strong effort for Team Mopar in Top Fuel as well. They were pretty tough in qualifying.
Hey, guys, we didn't even expect to get any qualifying in here if you listen to that darn old weatherman, but what we got was 2 great days of racing competition with some spectacular qualifying efforts. Now, Ken Vinny's the crew chief here on Team Mopar. They qualified #1 on the pole with a sensational 4:58. Ken's a man of few words, but what do you have to say after that run?
Hi, Mom.
30 years in the business. I finally get him to say something. He says hi to his mom. She's 88 years old. Let me tell you how it all went down in qualifying. Mike Dunn had already gone low 460s on a couple of runs. He took Team Mopar right down Broadway, 4.58 for the quickest run the team had ever made. Second time this year that they have gone to the pole position. Now, if they could just parlay that into a win here today, everybody on this team, including Ken Vinny's mother, would be pretty happy. In the funny car category is more of the same, more big green. The Interstate Batteries car, Bruce Pendergon, set the pace with a brilliant 488. This team is now qualified #1, 4 races in a row, after failing to qualify at all for the season opener out in Pomona. In Pro Stock category, the guy who took the 50 grand up at the Winston Invitational 2 weeks ago in Rockingham put his car on the pole position. Mark Osborne, driving for Dick Sherman, took the #1 spot away from Warren Johnson with a brilliant 6.94-second pass. Believe me, this team is for real. But the story here, as far as I'm concerned, besides the fact that I got Ken Vinny to say something, is the Team Mopar is on the pole position. Darrell, that's all behind you now. So we go into race day here today. You guys need to put one in the win column.
Yeah, it's very important. Obviously, qualifying for one of these fields is important, but qualifying #1 is a little justification for all the hard work that Team Mopar and Darrell Glenn Racing and all the guys here put forth such an effort. And cars are running pretty good this weekend. I'm pleasantly anxious to get this day through.
Oh, it'll be interesting to see how they do here today. Team Mopar on the pole position, looking to win the Fram Nationals.
All right, thanks, Bob Fry. We'll see what the weather holds in Atlanta as well, where it has been raining again this morning. There's more to come on race day, though. NASCAR's Craftsman truckers set to tackle the Phoenix Mile this afternoon. No rain worries there. We'll let you know who's fast. And fast does not begin to describe the scene at the Brickyard this week. We'll visit Indy's first open test session ever. Kart teams going under the arch to test at Gateway. We'll show you their progress.
Race Day is brought to you by Mopar, Chrysler Corporation Parts, and the Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, Jeep, and Eagle dealers who sell and install them.
We're back on race day. The Winston Cup focus in Virginia today, but NASCAR's truckers are out west. The Desert Star Classic later this afternoon at Phoenix International Raceway. That's a place Jack Sprague has dominated in his Hendrick Chevrolet, but Jack will have to start in the second row for today's 150-miler. Here's how qualifying stacks up after Saturday. Young Stacy Compton taking his first pole of his major league career Saturday, running a lap of 127.596 miles an hour. Alongside Compton, rookie Andy Houston, Tommy's son. Andy runs a 127.47 in the Addington Chevrolet. 36 trucks will start later this afternoon at Phoenix. Rick Crawford goes 11th. He won at Homestead a few weeks back. And by the way, former NFL coach Jerry Glanville, who qualified 31st for the truck race, was 5th quick for the Winston West event today at Phoenix. But Glanville hit the wall on the second lap of his time trial run. He broke several ribs plus an ankle. Glanville is 56 years old. He is hospitalized in Phoenix, and there's no word yet as to who will sub for him in today's 2 events. We are just back from Indianapolis, where for the first time, the Speedway and the Indy Racing League opened up the Brickyard for testing well in advance of the month of May. The early part of the week reserved for rookies. 7 drivers passing their rookie orientation tests as of Wednesday night. One of the first-year pilots hoping for success this year has a great racing pedigree. Robbie Unser. His dad, Bobby, has won 3 500s. Uncle Al Unser with 4 wins. Cousin Al Jr. with a pair. But the fastest of the rookies at the Speedway this week trying his luck wasn't much of a surprise. Each Gandy is Jimmy Kite, very quick.
Everything I did around this track, there were so many firsts, and I remember every one of them. It's just hard to list all of them, but it's neat being here.
So there's been a lot of people behind the scenes, a lot of, from my friends to people working with me that have really put a lot of effort into helping me get a chance to do that.
Then it was the veterans' turn, topping the late week speed charts. 2 drivers with several IRL wins. Scott Sharp off his controversial Phoenix victory this year, 2nd quick at 222.3 miles an hour. Defending 500 champ Ari Leyendijk holds the all-time qualifying record at the Speedway. He ran a 222.6.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think with a week less, in the month of May, this is a good couple of days to take advantage of.
One of the few teams using the Infinity motor, the Crest crew of Dr. Jack Miller, are facing major troubles. Miller had his only 2 Infinities blow this week. He may have to make a change before the 500.
That's a tough one to say right now. I mean, we put it this way. I have to look out for Crest Racing or Crest Toothpaste, and whatever it takes to get in the field, we have to do.
Well, after the 2 days of open testing for the veterans, Lyon, Nyke, and Sharp both in the 222s, Sam Schmidt knocked off a lap at 221 plus. Both qualifying at Indy is in less than 4 weeks, May 16th. The race is 5 weeks from today. The Kart Champ cars have the weekend off, but next week they'll hit the tricky 5-turn mile in Nazareth. Paul Tracy is last year's winner at his former boss's track in Pennsylvania. Before Kart heads to the Quaker State, though, a number of teams were looking ahead to the Memorial Weekend event at Gateway International near St. Louis. One of the drivers hoping for success the second time around at Gateway has to be Michael Andretti. The Newman Haas driver getting in plenty of track time in his new Swift Ford. Andretti's been strong so far this season, winning at Miami, running up front in Japan, and also at Long Beach before losing a tire on the street course. Dan Gurney's All-American Racers Toyota Group also getting in plenty of track time at Gateway. This is rookie Alex Barron, one driver many expect to shine in the months ahead with that Toyota. Barron making his first trip to the Illinois facility this week. One driver everyone will be watching, though, Al Unser Jr. His winless streak is growing, but little Al is looking forward to Nazareth and Gateway.
Nazareth is a great racetrack. It's very, very busy, but you know, I'm looking forward to doing well there. You know, we haven't won there, and Penske Racing has won there several times, so I'd like to pull one off for Raj.
It's going to be so fast. You know, I think you're going to see pole in the low 18-second bracket, which is incredible. And, you know, it's going to be good going home, and hopefully we can get a pole. We haven't had a pole in a while, and we're going to be trying hard for one, and also get a good car for the race.
Kart's Bosch Sparkplug Grand Prix is next Sunday afternoon on the mile at Nazareth in Pennsylvania. There's plenty more to come on race day when we come back. Some history in the NASCAR Busch Grand National Series last Saturday. Ed Barrier's surprising first victory, and he had some strong veteran help in getting the job done at Hickory 1 week ago.
Pulling in the victory lane there is like, I mean, the greatest thing's happened to me in a long time. You know, it was really exciting.
Welcome back. NASCAR's Busch Grand National Series has the weekend off, but last Saturday the Tour saw its 8th different and 3rd first-time winner of 1998 as Ed Barrier scored career victory #1. He and crew chief Jimmy Means paired up together last August. Means, a longtime independent on the Winston Cup Tour. The two have parallel pasts full of struggle, but Race Day's Matt Yoakum reports after only 15 races together, the two journeymen have hit the jackpot.
Here comes Barrier in his 208th career NASCAR Busch Series race. He wins.
It was very exciting. You know, I never got close to tears until my mom come up, you know, and I think she was in tears, and you know, about in shock, really. You know, just, is this really happening? You know, it's been so long, and things just went real well for us, and we were able to stay out of trouble. And but pulling in the victory lane there is like, I mean, the greatest thing's happened to me in a long time. You know, it was really exciting.
Last Saturday was the culmination of a dream, as Ed Barrier's 14-year struggle came to an end in Hickory's victory lane. The climb to the top was paved with sweat, tears, and diligence that never saw him give up during the lean times, a trait handed down by his racing father, Max.
He, you know, instilled that drive in me to, you know, to work hard, and if you got a dream, you know, you got to work hard for it, and, you know, hopefully it's finally coming true that, you know, I got a good full-time ride this year, and, you know, my wife, she's took up the load the last few years when I didn't have a good ride, and things were a little tight at home, and, you know, without her, it'd been an awfully tough road to keep hanging in there and trying to make it work.
The turn towards success came last August. After years of running his own car on a limited schedule and budget, he joined the Lear team led by crew chief and former driver Jimmy Means. Their chemistry was immediate, as the two had parallel careers. Both were used to overachieving on a shoestring budget.
This is the first year in my racing career that, hey, I'm going to the racetrack to drive this race car. You know, I'm not got to stay up all night and work on it and get it to the track and hope everything goes right. You know, I don't have to worry about where's the tire money coming from. You know, we got a great sponsor in Lear and UAW, and I mean, it takes a lot of load off of you.
In this situation, I'm basically the team manager and the crew chief, and we have a driver that's all he can concentrate on is driving and doesn't have to worry about all that other stuff. So it kind of shows to me when you got all these ingredients, you got the sponsorship, you got the driver, and all that in place, then you can win a race.
A win does more than help pay the tire bill. It builds confidence and character. This ideal combination of barrier and means has seen relatively quick success and has an unlimited potential.
I think we can win more races. You know, it's really a building year for ourselves, and it's really a new team.
To be a championship top team, we need to do this consistently. We need to qualify in the top 10 consistently and have some top 10 runs. And I think we proved that we can do that other than the wrecks we've been in. And I think we've got the capabilities of showing all that.
I'm Matt Yoakum reporting.
All right, thanks, Matt. The barrier and means combination rides high into Talladega next week. They qualified third at Daytona. We understand they're going to take their Thunderbird to Talladega, looking to keep that winning momentum alive. Winston Cup news now. After a couple of successful test sessions at Talladega, Diamond Ridge Motorsports will return to the Winston Cup Wars in Alabama next week. Team owner Gary Bechtel announcing Diamond Ridge has put its program back on track after a 2-race break, and Jeff Green will steer the number 29 Monte Carlo at Talladega Superspeedway come next weekend. It took them 7 weeks, but Sterling Marlin has a new crew chief this week. Corey Stott, who led Jimmy Spencer to a Busch Series win at Vegas back at the end of February, will call the shots on pit road today for the Sabco Coors Light Chevrolet team.
Of course, from a racing background, his dad, Ramo, ran for years and ran some Winston Cup races, and I guess him and Dad run 3rd and 4th in the Daytona 500 in the 70s. So, you know, Corey's been around a long time. He knows what's going on, and he's drove race cars, so he kind of knows what you need.
Corey Stott is 36, a native of Iowa, and as you heard Sterling say, the son of ARCA legend Ramo Stott. Tony Glover, of course, continues to work with Sterling and Stott in his role as team manager. Marlin will start 21st today at Martinsville, weather permitting. Bill Elliott's group will grow to include a 3rd car next weekend at Talladega. Former Busch Series standout Dennis Setzer will steer another Elliott Racing Taurus. It'll carry the number 89 next week. And there is more to come on race day. Our newsmaker of the week. His kart team has won back-to-back championships. Now he's putting on the track operator's hat. But he misses his past times at the wheel.
It is kind of nice knowing you can go to a track and you can win everywhere.
Mack Trucks are furnished by Clement Chevy Mack Sales. For all your truck and tractor needs, call Clement at 1-800-369-MACK. Race Day, brought to you by LA West Luxury Vans, the world's ultimate sport utility vehicle. LA West Luxury Vans, available at select Ford dealerships nationwide. Call us at 800-786-VANS. By Featherlight, the official trailer of NASCAR, IndyCar, World of Outlaws, IRL, and a major sponsor of NHRA. Remember to call Featherlight for all your trailer needs at 800-800-1230.
We are back. You know, these can be the best of times for entrepreneurs in motorsports. Stock offerings, new speedways, new series, a time of tremendous opportunity. One longtime kart team owner is jumping in now to the deep end of the pool, hoping to add to his 2 straight championships by creating a new speedway, and not just any racetrack, a premier facility in the country's 3rd biggest market. With the move to create Chicago Motor Speedway, Chip Ganassi becomes our newsmaker of the week. Ganassi, like Roger Penske, stepped out of the cockpit years ago, sensing better chances to win outside the race car. Now he's put a dominant kart team together, and the back-to-back titles, plus the foray into track ownership, are sparking an obvious comparison.
I think anybody that's been in auto racing, you know, for the last 10 or 12 years, you'd have to say that if you had any models, he'd certainly be one of them, I can tell you. I mean, obviously, you can't argue with the success he's had and the finger he's had in growing this sport, really, and is obviously one of the major players. I guess you could say that, sure. He's a good guy to model after.
Ganassi is partnering with the Bidwell family of Chicago to bring a kart event to the Windy City next year, well ahead of tracks proposed by International Speedway Corporation, Bruton Smith Speedway Motorsports, and the Dale Coyne Road Course that's already under construction. So one major question, does Chicago Motor Speedway need a NASCAR event too? Or can it work financially with just the kart weekend?
Well, I think the way it's set up now, it will pay out because we have a dual-purpose track there, you know, with the horses and the cars. So financially, we're okay. You know, certainly, I mean, you know, I think everybody that has a piece of asphalt would love to have a NASCAR race, and of one sort or another. And you know, I guess time will tell if we can do that or not. You know, like I said, that track is going to be built for everybody that wants to be there in any kind of cars.
As you look at the other 2 projects talked about there, the Alliance, the NASCAR ISC wants to build, Bruton Smith's talked about going there. Is there room for more than one, or you're first on the block and that's it?
I don't know. You'll have to ask them that. I mean, you know, let me say this. I think they know what we're doing up there. And, you know, as do a lot of people. I've made everybody aware of my what I've been doing and what my intentions are, and it's going to be one of those projects that it's going to work, and I can't wait.
On track, Ganassi's two-car Target team is off to a slower start than normal this year, although Alex Zanardi's Long Beach win 2 weeks ago boosted him into early title contention. Ganassi relishes owning what is now the team to beat in kart.
You know, at first it is kind of nice knowing you can go to a track and you can win everywhere. You know, we used to have, I remember when I got started, you know, there were some tracks that favored us, some that didn't favor us. And I guess all except for the short ovals now, we've got them all figured out. We've had wins everywhere now except on the short ovals. That's really it's a little bit of a mountain for us to conquer yet, in technically from a team point of view. But we had a good test last week at Nazareth, so we're looking forward to going back there.
Ganassi says his group is finding speed now by going back to the future.
Obviously, you know, the sport is ever changing. You know, what works for someone this year doesn't work the following year. However, a lot of times something that worked 5, 6, maybe 10 years ago, interestingly, can be brought back and try with a little different twist on it.
What kinds of things? Give me an example of something that's come back that you were using 10 years ago.
Well, a lot of times things on some setups we've found that we went away from for a few years. You know, differences in cross weight and bump steer, things like that sort of went away with the high downforce cars. You know, as we keep taking downforce away now, we see some things coming back in setups that we haven't actually done for 5 or 6 years that make quite a difference now.
The Pittsburgh native acknowledges there's plenty of pressure after 2 straight championships, but his team likes going for 3 in a row.
I don't have to, in terms of motivation, in terms of them knowing what the goals are, you don't need that in this sport. That's the great thing about auto racing. If they're not getting enough pressure from their peer group, I should say, they get enough pressure looking at the point standings up there on the wall every week. So.
Chip Ganassi, our newsmaker of the week. Now, kart has been busy. They're using some of their stock market revenue to add to their holdings, completing the purchase of the promotion agency of Chicago, which means they will take over the Toyota Atlantic Series. The move gives kart ownership of its 2 main feeder series. Kart had bought Indy Lights within the last month. Reportedly, the sanctioning body wants to add a driving school to its holdings to create a 4-step driver development program that kart will totally be in control of. Time to take a break on race day as we take a look at what's going on at Martinsville. It is very wet. We're told it's raining hard there at the moment. Plus, our weekly reminder to check out our website. There's the situation at Martinsville. Country.com is the place for all things country and all things in motorsports, including our Country.com question of the week. Get the answer by logging on. Firing up for the second half of race day.
If they go green at Martinsville today, you'll see some familiar faces in new places because of a rash of injuries on the Cup circuit.
Whenever they do race at Martinsville, the man to beat may well be Rusty Wallace. We'll tell you why he's so tough on the series' shortest track. And we'll take you back to Indy for a close look at one of the toughest teams in the Indy Racing League. Team Menard hoping for their first win at the Brickyard this year. It's all coming your way the second half hour of race day. And welcome back. It's good to have you with us. You know, it's a big part of big league sports. Injuries are something that teams in baseball and football and basketball face all the time. And this year, maybe more than ever, in Winston Cup racing. 5 full-time drivers are on the disabled list right now. Our Bob Dillner takes a look at the list of backup pilots who will suit up for today's Goodies 500.
The names of the cars don't always match the faces this weekend in Martinsville. Jeff Green, Rich Bickle, and Morgan Shepherd join Randy LaJoie and Darrell Waltrip as the latest pinch hitters for teams with injured drivers. Green has a 1-race substitution for Derek Cope, Bickle for Greg Sachs, and Shepherd for the banged-up Mike Skinner. All are in today's race, with Rich Bickle the top qualifier of the bunch. He'll line up 11th, despite only 2 laps of practice before qualifying.
You know, we lost the motor in practice, lost the head gasket, and went to start the thing up, and the cylinder was full of water. And, you know, the guys did a heck of a job in this Thornhill Valley car to get the motor changed in about 45 minutes and got us a couple more laps before the running come. The biggest thing is I don't want to see Greg hurt. I want to see him get healthy, get back in here. I mean, this is his ride. And, you know, and before the season started, I had the choice, you know, going to Washington Urban or Cale's deal. And, you know, I picked Washington Urban. That was my choice. And unfortunately, that didn't work out.
These guys are real professionals, so it helps me getting in a car like this. It's hard if you go in with a team that doesn't have as much experience as this team, so makes my job easy.
The fill-in role is not only tough on drivers, but the teams as well, since chemistry plays such a big role in this sport, and drivers with Cup experience are a rare commodity.
Like I say, nothing against Randy or anything, because he's done us a very good job so far this year, but you don't know what to expect. You know, this team was already established last year with Ricky, and they were all set. Everybody's mind was set on Ricky again this year and all, and then this happened. So, you know, there again, it's got to give you another way of thinking.
The number one thing is to have a driver that communicates well, understands what his role is for this one race situation, and Jeff is just doing an excellent job for us.
Darrell Waltrip and Bill Elliott have seen how it affects teams from both sides of the fence. Waltrip has been relieved before as a driver, and now he's filling in for Steve Park while his former team regroups. And Elliott also as an owner-driver when he fractured his femur in '96.
It's a tough situation. I mean, anytime you put anybody else in the car, especially without going through several weeks of testing and stuff like that, it's virtually impossible, especially with the level of competition today.
I am terribly concerned about all the drivers that are getting injured this year. Well, in my 20-some years, 26 years, I don't remember having this many drivers injured this early in the year. I think it's just the cars are too fast, and the tracks that we go to are too fast, and it's causing a lot of problems. You know, obviously some of the conditions we've been racing under are less than ideal. So I'm really worried about that. I don't want to see these drivers walking around with casts on their arms and legs and everything else. That's not good for our sport.
All right, thanks, Bob. Now, Derek Cope, we're told, is slated to be back in the seat at Talladega next week. Right now, though, it looks like Skinner and Sachs will sit out at least one more week, and we wish all those injured drivers speedy recoveries. Winston Cup teams are hoping to race in Martinsville today. Many have also spent time this week hauling to Alabama to test at Talladega. Among those saddling up, Busch Series standout Matt Kenseth. Kenseth just nominated by Jack Roush to steer a 6th Taurus for his team next week. Kenseth is hoping to make his first Winston Cup start next Sunday at the longest track in the series. It's a place where he's had some success before.
Well, it's pretty exciting. Talladega is pretty cool. You know, it's the fastest track that we go to, and Roush Racing has a great team, and to have all the people out there for drafting partners, it should be fun.
All three brands of Cup cars represented at Talladega testing this week. Sterling Marlin hoping to find success at one of his favorite tracks in the Sabco Chevrolet. Veteran Ernie Irvan looking to recapture his restrictor plate success too at the Skittles Pontiac. Rookie Kenny Irwin heading toward his first Talladega try in the Yates Ford.
Coming to Talladega, I mean, since the first time that I got announced I was going to be in the 28 car, a lot of fan mail from Talladega area, Alabama. I mean, this is definitely their car, and Robert Yates believes that too, and it's just going to be very special coming back here in a few weeks.
We don't do anything for the race right now. I mean, I don't think anybody is. Daytona and Talladega, we come here and we make the car fast for qualifying. You know, things that we learn for our qualifying stuff, we're also able to make that and incorporate that into the race setup. You know.
Mike Dillon also on hand this week at Talladega, serving as test pilot for his father-in-law Richard Childress, wheeling one of Dale Earnhardt's Good Ranch Chevrolets with Larry McReynolds there, the Die Hard 500, 1 week from today. And when we come back, plenty more from Martinsville, always one of the most demanding events at one of the most demanding tracks in NASCAR. But it's a place where at least one of the Wallace boys has tasted a lot of success over the years. Rusty hoping to repeat that success when the Goodies 500 rolls off.
I don't know how much better, but I know we'll be better.
When the Winston Cup cars unload at Martinsville, you think of a short list of dominant drivers. Richard Petty, Darrell Waltrip, Cale Yarborough. And there's one driver from the modern era firmly on that list. Race Day's Matt Yoakum tells us in recent years, the man to beat at Martinsville has been Rusty Wallace, having a great start this year after a tough 1997.
I got my stomp last year, and I don't plan on getting a stomp this year. I just don't do it. I only had one win last year. We finished friggin' 9th in the points. That sucks for us. And, you know, we had 8 engine blow-ups. If it wouldn't have been for those 8 engines, I'd probably won the friggin' championship the way it fell out, or at least second. But we got to get a lot more wins. We're going to be better than we were last year. I don't know how much better, but I know we'll be better.
Rusty Wallace has lived up to his words. The 89 champ is off to his best career start. He's leading the point standings, recorded 5 top 5s in 7 races, and has led the most laps.
I'm really excited about it. I just hope we don't falter and screw up, and it's going good. It's a Cinderella start for me after the stuff I went through.
The only thing missing from his season's stellar start is a win. Martinsville could be the icebreaker, as Wallace has been Mr. Martinsville in the 90s. 6 victories, 5 coming in the last 10 races, and he's padded the stats with a stellar mark of 8 top 3 finishes in the last 11 events.
What is it about he and Martinsville that you guys seem to run so well?
It's all Rusty. I mean, you could come here in anything, and Rusty Wallace will run in the top 5 all day long.
Well, it's a confidence booster whenever you go to a track that you enjoy as much as Martinsville like I do. But, you know, I'm not looking to, hey, this is going to be my revival for a win. I mean, hope I can win here. I feel like I can. I'm sure I'll lead a bunch of laps, hopefully. But I thought I could have won at Rockingham. I thought I could have won at Bristol. And I thought I could have won at Las Vegas because I was that close all the time. And let's just hope I can win this time.
We're not going to change our thoughts or strategies or what we're trying. We're just trying to finish races, run well, and we know if we keep running the top 5, the wins are going to come. And so we got a pretty good shot here.
In the back of his mind, Rusty still remembers last fall. He turned the race into a Rusty benefit. But after a late NASCAR penalty for jumping a restart, the race turned into the one that got away.
I got smarter after that. Instead of starting where I did, I'll start another 30 foot farther down the line before this time. But I was a little aggressive on that start. Had a lap car inside of me, had oil dry in turn 1, and I wanted to get to that corner first. And I jumped a little too aggressive.
Do you feel like one kind of got away from you in this place, kind of owes you one?
That would probably be an understatement. And we feel like we were by far the best car last fall. The 99 was an awful good car, but you know, those things happen, I guess, and you know, that's behind us. And no place ever owes you one, but it'd be nice to win here this spring.
One other Martinsville advantage could be Rusty's car. It's nicknamed Ronnie, but should be called Sunday Money. In 14 starts, it has 3 victories and 8 top 5s. Ronnie gave Rusty his last 2 Martinsville wins, and on Friday put him on the front row. I'm Matt Yoakum reporting.
A reskinned Ronnie this year. Now, since Martinsville scheduled races of 200 miles or more, Richard Petty has the most wins with 15. DW second leads the way among the active drivers. The ASA's AC Delco Challenge Stars were supposed to run their second event of the new season yesterday, but the weatherman was the big winner. The Pontiac Excitement 300 rained out at Nashville Speedway, USA. A lot of storm activity there, as you know. The event now has been rescheduled for May 23rd. That is a Saturday. Time for a break on race day. When we continue, it's been a strong early year in the Indy Racing League, especially for the defending series champion. Batting .500 in 2 starts at Orlando and at Phoenix, and he wants an Indy win.
But I just feel like the team is ready this year. I mean, the team's been ready the last 3 years. We just can't get enough luck to finish it off.
No, this is not Charlotte in January. It's April in Indianapolis. Officials and teams of the Indy Racing League working hard to build interest in the second full year of the IRL, entertaining 100 reporters from around the country at the Speedway and at IRL shops this week. We got up-close looks at how teams like Menard and Treadway and the new Panther Racing Group are preparing for Indy. All the 34 teams trying for Indy glory have high hopes now, but the list of likely winners is short. And for one of the teams, Team Menard, this could be a make-or-break year to take their group
has known the
to the
highs
Speedway.
and lows of racing at Indy, qualifying fastest 2 straight years with Scott Brayton, only to see Brayton die in a practice crash in 1996 before he could take the green flag from the pole. Menard turned a new page, though, last year. Tony Stewart winning the team's first ever event, the IRL round at Pikes Peak, taking 4 poles and John Menard's first championship. So far in 1998, it's been another rocket ride for the team. Stewart with a win at Disney, a 3rd at Phoenix, and with his full-time NASCAR career just about to begin, what might be his last best shot at a 500 victory.
You know, Joe Gibbs understands the desire to win the Indy 500 and has left a clause in my contract that lets me run the Indy 500 every year. So, but I just feel like the team is ready this year. I mean, the team's been ready the last 3 years. We just can't get enough luck to finish it off, and it takes a lot of luck to win there. But, you know, the preparation that the team has taken this year, you know, last year we thought they've done everything that they could do, and this year they've trumped the race again.
Stewart's teammate again this year is the capable Robbie Buell, who got his first Indy Racing League victory last year at New Hampshire. This year, Buell has struggled so far, finishing 20th at Disney and 12th at Phoenix. You might consider Buell to be the team's number 2 driver, but he's not conceding anything at Indy.
You always put pressure on yourselves, whether we're racing Orlando, whether we're racing at Phoenix. I mean, from a driver standpoint, I still got that same amount of pressure. I'm just hoping that we get some breaks our way. And the way the first 2 races have gone, I think we've gotten the bad luck out of the way. So I'm hoping that things will go well. I mean, it does take a lot of concentration here. There's a lot of mental concentration to everything else that's going on around this race. It's tiring and exhausting, and you can't lose sight of what your main job is, and that's, you know, to do what you can to win this race.
Team manager Larry Curry is leaving nothing to chance for May. The Menard crew has G-Force and Dallara chassis ready for testing.
We're getting close on testing, but you know, you got 2 races at Indianapolis. You got one that's 4 laps that's very prestigious to win the pole. You have one that's 200 laps. Well, certainly, I don't want to throw away the 200 lap to get the 4 laps. So, you know, but we do want to compete in both. And I don't think it's necessarily going to be a real easy decision, but I think it's going to come down to which car do we feel has the best, to qualify the best, but race, in other words, a balance. Yeah. Not necessarily be ultimately the fastest car for a lap, but where's the best balance?
And the man who pays the bills has made a critical choice. There'll be no third Menard car entered for the team to deal with in this year's 500.
Because it dilutes your effort not only from the standpoint of your time and attention to the people that probably can do the most to win the race, it also takes it away from the team that you need to do the pit stops you need to get it done, because we'd have to take some of our guys, obviously, and divide them up, and then they're working with guys they haven't worked with before.
They'll play against Team Menard at the Speedway in the month of May. Let's head to the dirt tracks now for the Pennzoil World of Outlaws in the nation's heartland this weekend. Friday night, full show. Paducah International Speedway in Kentucky, and a very strong night for Jeff Swindell in the 104 Octane Boost machine on the outside pole of the feature as they take the parade lap. Heavy challenge, that's Andy Hillenberg on the low side in the Black Deuce. But Jeff Swindell is strong. This is a battle for second now. Steve Kinzer has it, but wheelies off turn 4, gives up the spot. Stevie Smith in the fray, too, but Smith cuts down a tire. His race ends early in the first turn. Greg Hodnett had flipped just before the checkers up at 4. They restart with 2 to go. Nobody has anything for Swindell in his Ford-powered machine. Friday's top 5, Andy Hillenberg, Steve Kinzer, Mark Kinzer, and Sammy Swindell. Now, last night, the Outlaws moved on to West Plains, Missouri, where they ran a full show. Stevie Smith was the winner last night in his 19 machine. Jack Haudenschild was second. The Outlaws in Knoxville, Iowa, next week. Plenty more to come this Sunday morning. The ground-pounding modified setting the stage at Martinsville Speedway. Plenty of wheel wanging on the menu here. The current king of the open wheel machines is at a career crossroads. Find out what Mike Stefanik might have in his future. We are back. You know, it's a tradition at Martinsville. The Featherlight Modifieds of NASCAR, the Saturday feature. Our short track spotlight with the Goodies 200 yesterday. Double NASCAR champion Mike Stefanik on the pole in the 6M, and Stefanik showed why he is NASCAR's irresistible force in the Northeast, leading much of the early going yesterday. Stefanik here over Tim Conley. There would be a couple of scrambles behind Steffi, though. This is Carl Pastriak looping the 75. Everybody okay after this one. A little later, Jan Leedy in trouble in the 25. Contact with Eddie Flemke in the 79. That's his lap 82. And at halfway, Mike Uinitsko, the Long Islander, on the move. And Art Berry's white number 21 machine challenging Stefanik on the outside. Cannot get by. Steffi holds on. Uinitsko settles to second. But with 35 laps left, Uinitsko gets going again and challenges. He's the defending race champion at Martinsville and goes by on the high side to grab the point. One more caution in this one. 10 to go. Charlie Pastriak in the 5. Tony Hirschman in Lenny Bowler's 3 car. Battling off turn 2. They tangle both at the wall. Final sprint to the flag, the green, out with 5 to go. Stefanik tries him one more time, but can't do it. Uinitsko, who started 24th, is your winner Saturday. Stefanik comes home second. Conley, the Reg, and Jamie Tomeno, your top 5 in our short track spotlight. Modified tour next week, Stafford Springs in Connecticut for the annual Spring Sizzler. Now, Mike Stefanik did not win that battle yesterday at Martinsville, but he won 2 major wars last year, taking both the modified and the Busch North Series championships, a really unprecedented feat. This year, Stefanik started the season down south, running John Andretti's Busch Grand National car. Many thought he would become the next Northerner to try to seek racing fame in the big time. But as Bob Dillner reports, Stefanik will take his time before taking that next step.
I've had 22 years of good old race experience under my belt, so I guess I couldn't consider myself a rookie.
Mike Stefanik may be the guy everyone is watching in the Northeast these days, but he's definitely not the new kid on the block. The New Englander has been racing for 2 full decades. He's the all-time modified tour win leader, and he's won 4 championships between the Tour and the Busch North Series, including last year's double dip, the first time that's been done in NASCAR since Lee Petty's Grand National Sportsman double title in 1959. And this year, Stefanik is shooting for it again.
There's some scheduling conflicts in the modified side of things that
I know we're going to miss a minimum of 2 races. We only missed 1 last year. We could have missed 2 and still won it, but we had a lot of luck on our side with the other competitors not having as good a days as they should have had at some races. We had a very strong season, and we won like 10 out of the 20 races we ran with our own car. You win 50% of the races, you're going to be in the hunt. Stefanik has actually been doing triple duty this year, wheeling John Andretti's Busch car at a few tracks. And despite poor showings and a few DNQs, Stefanik is not out of the ride. In fact, they may race together again at Loudon in May.
We kind of struggled there getting going with the 96 car, the Big A Auto Parts car. They formed that team very late, you know, in the off season, and that's a very tough deal. That's a very competitive series, and you can't really just put a team together that quickly and expect it to be, you know, a smooth running operation. So, you know, they got some work ahead of them, and they've tried some different drivers and stuff, and my schedules conflict. I couldn't sign up for the whole program just because I already committed to my schedules back home.
This is not the first time Stefanik has been part of the Busch Series. In '94, he drove for the struggling Rex Road and Galliano team.